What up, YouTube? Team Movies here. Since it is the start of summer, I decided to do my 10 favorite movies about summer. I gotta be careful. I say I'm not talking about summer movies like some films that got released during summer. These are movies that is about the season of the summer. So I just had to be more specific there. But anywho, with that being said, here are my 10 favorite movies about summer. Number 10, I'm gonna go with a comic classic. Years before, years before, of course, before he got into, into us NCIS and all that, Mark Harmon played a gym teacher, and he was in the movie Summer School. Summer School got released in late 1980s, I believe 1985, 86. Summer School is really there's always so many 1980 movies that gets talked about so many times. I feel like Summer School is one comic of the 80s that rarely gets talked about. I mean, heck, there was even word about Adam Sandler actually doing like a remake of Summer School. I never knew what happened to that one. But anyway, now for you who don't know, Summer School, like I said, stars Mark Harmon, who is ready to take the summer off in Hawaii, but he ends up being forced to, teach, summer school English or risk losing his tenure. And so now he's, stuck teaching a group of unmotivated students, as disappointed to be stuck in school and stuff like that. Uh, Not to mention, you had Kirstie Alley as the history teacher. Like, I believe this was around, I believe this was before she was on Cheers. Your film was also directed by the Jerk director, Carl Reiner. He did a great job. You had Courtney Thorne Smith was in this. Of course, years before she was in According to Jim and Two and a Half Men. Summer School is, like I said, it's a comedy that does not really get talked about. Like, the film doesn't even hold up today, but it's actually pretty funny. If you guys haven't really seen Mark Harmon's film Summer School by now, give it a shot. I mean, there are plenty movies about school, but there's not really many movies about summer school. And summer school stunk. I've been in summer school a couple times. It's not all that fun. I mean, you lose a month of summer and all, but that aside, yeah, summer school is a really good one. Number 9, I'm gonna go with the film The Way Way Back. Now, this film got released in 2013, directed by Nat Faxon and Jim Rash, who went on to recently direct that film with Will Ferrell in it called Downhill. That movie was not good. But The Way Way Back, starring this young actor named Liam James, was terrific. Here he plays this awkward teen who must spend the summer at a beach house with his mother, played by Toni Collette, as well as her boyfriend Trent, played by Steve Carell, and Trent's obnoxious daughter. And Trent's a bit, Steve Carell's character, like, this is actually one of the films that made me go, wow, Steve Carell could do more than just straight up comedy. Like, I've seen Little Miss Sunshine prior, but he was still a very comedic in that one. But The Way Way Back, kind of introduced me to more of a serious Steve Carell. Like, of course, a year later, he ended up appearing in Foxcatcher. But The Way Way Back is terrific. Liam James is an actor to keep your eye out for. I know he was terrific in this film. You also had Sam Rockwell, who ends up being a bit like a father figure to Duncan. You had Anna Sophia Robb was terrific in this. Maya Rudolph. You even had Allison Janney was in this. I like Toni Collette in this film. The Way Way Back does not really get talked about a lot. It's a very underrated film. The film got released in 2013, and since then, the film does not really get much to get talked about. Like, it got really good reviews when it got released, but not really many people really took the time to even check the film out. The film went way under the radar back in 2013, and yeah, if you guys haven't really seen The Way Way Back, it's a really good one. It's a great summer film, a great coming of age content, really decent flick. Alright. Alright, number 8, I'm gonna go with Wet Hot American Summer. Now, this is the film that really put the spotlight on loads of actors. Like, you had Bradley Cooper, you had Amy Poehler, uh, you had loads of other folks in this. Like, you had Molly Shannon, David Hyde Pierce, Cam Moreno, uh, you had Boz Berger himself, H. Sean Benjamin, Elizabeth Banks. Uh, this is a really decent one. The film does take place in Camp Firewood, and it takes place in the year 1981, and it's the last day before everyone goes back to the real world. But there's still a summer's worth of unfinished business to resolve. And so at the center of the action is you got a camp director, Beth, who is struggling to keep order while she falls in love with the local professor here. And you got a few other decent characters. Like, you even had Paul Rudd was in this. Janine Garofalo was in this one. Wet Hot American Summer, of course. We had of course, there was a TV sequel of Wet Hot American Summer that premiered on Netflix. This film is a who's of actors. Like, they're all actors. Like, the film got released in 2001, and there's loads of actors in this film that you'll probably recognize today. Like I said, this film, started up Bradley Cooper's career. It started up, Amy Poehler's career. Not really Paul Rudd's career, because his career started with Clueless and Mike Myers and all that. But that aside, Wet Hot American Summer is this is a kid summer camp I always wanted to go to. It always seemed like a pretty cool camp to attend. The characters were all likable, except for Cameron Reynolds. He always plays a bit of a douchebag. But that aside, Wet Hot American Summer is straight up awesome. Alright. Coming in at number 7, I'm gonna go with I Know What You Did Last Summer. Probably one of the coolest horror movies that takes place, obviously, during the summer. Now, this, of course, is where, like, years after running, over a fisherman dumping his body, 4 friends ends up, you got the killer, this killer who ends up finding out what they did last summer, who ends up, killing them off one by one, and you got Jennifer Love Hewitt, who plays the lead in this. Freddie Prinze Jr. You got Ryan Felipe, Sarah Michelle Gellar was in this. I Know What You Did Last Summer is a great horror film to watch during the summer. Because, of course, the film takes place in the summer, and the killers knew what these people did the summer before this. And it's a really decent one. It had some really cool kills in it. Really cool cast members. I always got kicked out. I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, Jennifer Love Hewitt. Come on, who does not love Jennifer Love Hewitt? Jennifer Love Hewitt's just a dog. She's just the best. But that aside, I Know What You Did Last Summer is a really good one. If you guys never really seen, I Know What You Did Last Summer by now, go give it a go. It's a really decent slasher flick. Number 6 is another iconic summer movie, like summer film of the olden times. Number 6, I'm gonna go with the classic Meatballs. Now, this was actually the film that really launched Bill Murray's career, and Meatballs is just a comic classic right there. The sequels, not so much. But if you guys don't really know, Meatballs, starring Bill Murray, is his head counselor at a budget summer camp called Camp North Star. And so, like, he's very young at heart, and only marginally more mature than the campers himself. But Tripper's best friend Rudy, played by Chris Makepeace, is this loner camper who has trouble fitting in. And so, like, Tripper ends up inspiring his young charges to defeat his rival Camp Mohawk in the annual Olympiad competition. And he also ends up falling for this other counselor named Roxanne, played by Kate Lynch. If you guys never really seen the original Meatballs, Meatballs is a film, like, Meatballs is a comedy that would not get made today. Like, there are some, very jokes in this that will probably offend people in today's society. But Meatballs is a really iconic one. Bill Murray If it wasn't for this, we wouldn't have seen Bill Murray in other films. Like, we would not have seen him. Like, he probably wouldn't have much of a career with Ghostbusters, with Caddyshack. Of course, Bill Murray really started his major career with SNL, and then since then, he started his film career with Meatballs. Meatballs is a really iconic one. If you guys have never ever seen Meatballs by now, give it a shot. This is another camp I wouldn't like. This is another fictional camp I wouldn't mind attending. All right, number 5. I know what you did last time is not the only awesome summer horror film. Number 5, I'm gonna go with the iconic summer horror movie, and the iconic. This is actually a camp I wouldn't mind visiting either. I might be nuts, but I wouldn't mind visiting Camp Crystal Lake. And you guys know where I'm getting at with number 5. Number 5 is the original Friday the 13th. When you think of summer movies, obviously the big when you think of any camp related films, obviously the big one comes to mind. The best camp to ever attend, obviously, is Camp Crystal Lake. I'm not being precautious. I always wanted to visit Camp Crystal Lake. I'm not even kidding. There's literally you can actually literally stay at Camp Crystal Lake. The same area that was shot during Friday that Friday the 13th got shot in. I would totally stay there. But anyway, Friday the 13th, is awesome. It's one of the iconic horror films there is. Of course, Jason Voorhees is just one of the Friday the 13th movies. Take place during Camp Crystal Lake because that is Jason's home. And Friday the 13th, the original, is just one of the most iconic horror movies there is. It has some really cool kills in it. It's one of the most iconic slasher movies. You also had Betsy Palmer as Jason's mother. You had Kevin Bacon. You had loads of Adrienne King. You had some really good cast members in this. Of course, Adrienne King played the lead role of Alice. She was terrific. Of course, the original. Spoiler for a film that's literally 40 years old. But Friday the 13th, of course, the original Friday the 13th did not feature Jason Voorhees. It featured really his mother. But still, Camp Crystal Lake is still Jason's home. And yeah, Jason is just one of the most iconic horror characters there is. Alright. Number 4, I'm going to go with Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing, directed by Spike Lee. Of course, this does have lots of racial tension that is very timely with everything going on in today's society. But Do the Right Thing, directed. This was really one of the movies that put Spike Lee on the map. Do the Right Thing is one of the most iconic movies of the 80s. Of course, it got released in 1989, I believe. I could be, I think 89 or 88. You've got the always great Danny Aiello, R.I.P. Danny Aiello, who portrays the town owner of a pizzeria in Brooklyn. And you've got this neighborhood logo named Bugging Out. That's literally his name. Played wonderfully by Giancarlo Esposito, who becomes upset when he ends up seeing that the pizzeria's Wall of Fame exhibit only features a talent actor. So he ends up believing that a pizzeria in a black neighborhood should also showcase black actors. And Sal, of course, disagrees. And this ends up, and the war ends up becoming this symbol of racism and hate to Bugging Out and all the other people in the neighborhood. So this is a very racial, tension-based film. And, I mean, the Danny Aiello's character is a bit of a racist. I mean, Danny Aiello was great. He's Danny Aiello. He was always great. But he was a bit of a racist character. But you also had some, the film, of course, takes place during the summertime. Giancarlo Esposito was awesome. I mean, boy, it's crazy to see him go from this to stuff like The Mandalorian, Stargirl. What a cool career Giancarlo Esposito has. But you had some other cool cast members in this. You had the likes of Rosie Perez, John Turturro, Samuel L. Jackson. You had Bill Nunn, Ozzie Davis, Ruby Dee. You even had Martin Lawrence. I always keep forgetting Martin Lawrence was in this. Robin Harris, of course, from House Party fame. Do the Right Thing is a really iconic one. Like I said, this film is very racial, attentions based film. And stuff that happens this is seriously stuff that's still going on in today's world, of course, with the protestings and all. But this is a really decent flick to watch. I mean, what Spike Lee was able to do with Do the Right Thing was really good. If you guys haven't really seen Do the Right Thing by now, it's a really decent one. All right, coming in at number 3, I'm gonna go with obviously the best summer musical there is, Grease. Summer Lovin'. It The song does not call Summer Lovin' by accident. Obviously, this film, of course, takes place during the summer. You've got Danny Zuko, played by John Turturro. I have Turturro in my head for some reason. You got Danny Zuko, played by John Travolta, who's of course, this does take place at a fictional high school set in the summer of 1958, and of course, they end up falling for each other and all that. Come on, you got Olivia Newton-John as a good girl, Sandy. Of course, one of the most iconic songs, one of my favorite songs in Greece is "Summer Lovin'." That of course, obviously, they ended up meeting, last summer, and then they end up, reconnecting the next summer. But Grease has some of the most iconic music moments in it. Whether you talk about Grease Lightning, and this is definitely one of the best musicals there is. John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. Back when John Travolta actually cared, he was terrific in this. His chemistry with Olivia Newton-John is just always iconic. If you guys never really, for some reason, if you got never seen Grease, it's one of the best musicals there is, and it's a really decent one. I was wanting to go to that high school. It's interesting that it's a fictional high school, but anyway. Alright, number 2, I'm going to go with American Graffiti. Now, this film, of course, got released before, George Lucas gave us Star Wars. This film actually put a lot of people on the map. It was one of the films that put Richard Dreyfuss on the map. You also had Ron Howard, who back then went by the name Ronnie Howard. Of course, around the 70s, Ron Howard, was in Happy Days and all that. Like, before he became a director with films like, The Da Vinci Code, Splash, and all that, Ron Howard had an interesting acting career. Remember, he was Opie on the Andy Griffith Show. Yeah, I always thought Ron Howard was really decent in this. You also had a very young Harrison Ford was in this. Like I said before, Star Wars kicked in. This was a movie that really put Harrison Ford on the map. Of course, you had Mackenzie Phillips. You had Charles Martin Smith. George Lucas. It's too bad George Lucas never went ahead and returned to direct movies like this. I always thought what George Lucas was able to do with a film like American Graffiti was cool. I mean, who could ever guess him going from this to heading, Lucasfilms and all that? But still, now if you guys don't really know much about American Graffiti, this film takes place on the last day of summer vacation in 1962, and you got friends Kurt, Steve, Terry, and John, who cruise the street of small town California while a mysterious disc jockey played by Wolfman Jack spins classic rock and roll. And so, it's of course it's the last night before their grown up lives, and Steve's high school sweetheart, who's this hot to trot blonde, and you got a bratty adolescent and a despairing angel in Thunderbird provide excitement they could handle with one another. It's a really iconic one. I mean, one of the most iconic cars there is. They just cruise around free. Well, I mean, American Graffiti is a really classic one. Got released in early 1970. Like I said, it got released before Star Wars got released. But anyway, yeah, American Graffiti is a really classic one. All right, what is the best movie about summer? Obviously, it's one of the best romantic films there is. Number 1 goes to Dirty Dancing. Yeah, I mean, time. You guys know the words, but anyway. Dirty Dancing, starring Jennifer Grey, Patrick Swayze, it's one of the most iconic summer, romantic films there is. You know, you got Jennifer Grey who plays the role, baby, who's of course the who is very one listless summer away from Peace Corps, and so like she ends up hoping to enjoy her youth while it lasts, and so she ends up you know kind of falling for this her dance instructor named Johnny, played by Patrick Swayze, who enlists Baby as his new partner, and they end up falling in love. But Baby's dad, played wonderfully by Jerry Orbach, ends up forbidding her from seeing Johnny. I mean, but she of course is determined to help him perform the big dance of the summer. Dirty Dancing is just a really decent one. It's very iconic. The most has some really iconic moments. I mean, the summer house in this is one of the most iconic house there is. Of course, the dance moments when of course when Johnny is lifting Baby, it's just iconic. One of the most iconic movie songs there is with I Had the Time of My Life. That's an iconic song. Jennifer Grey and Patrick Swayze were both had some really decent chemistry with one another. Dirty Dancing is just iconic. If you guys, for some reason, never seen Dirty Dancing by now, it's a really decent one. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick rundown. 10, Summer School. 9, way back. 8, Wet Hot American Summer. 7, I Know What You Did Last Summer. 6, Meatballs. 5, Friday the 13th. 4, Do the Right Thing. 3, Grease. 2, American Graffiti. And number 1, Dirty Dancing. Now, there's a few other ones I probably could have added. Let me pull up a good list. Alright. Adventureland with Jesse Eisenberg is a pretty good one. The Sandlot I probably could have added. Sister of Traveling Pants. 500 Days of Summer. I kind of talked about that a little when I was talking about Joseph Gordon-Levitt movies yesterday. Weekend at Bernie's is a good one. What About Bob? Speaking of Bill Murray. Caddyshack. Once again, speaking of Bill Murray. Grown Ups 1 and 2. Ping Pong Summer is a pretty decent one. The Great Outdoors, with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. You got The 7-Year Itch with Marilyn Monroe. Now and Then. Summer Rental with John Candy is a good one. Let's see. It Takes Two with the Olsen Twins. That's a bit of a guilty pleasure. Camp Nowhere with a young Jessica Alba. One Crazy Summer with John Cusack and Demi Moore. Staten Island Summer. The Parent Trap, the original and remake. Some Blue Crush. There's some really good ones. I think Jaws is more of like, I guess Jaws counts as summer, but I think that took place more during this spring break more than anything. But let me leave it to you guys. What are some of your favorite movies about summer? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This is C-Movie signing off.